Am I the a-hole? I told wife that 10-year-old daughter was more mature than her. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex's family the reason we won't be getting married despite having a child together and getting him in trouble? Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I didn't want to spend time with his family after they tried to make me prove I was good enough for him?
Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started.
Am I the a-hole? I told wife that 10-year-old daughter was more mature than her. My wife, 32 female, and I, 28 male, went to an AC restaurant today with our 10-year-old daughter. My wife has this bad habit of ordering too much food at restaurants and then not eating it fully. A lot of the times, the restaurants do not allow doggy bags, so the food gets wasted. So I decided to take her to an AC today because she'll be able to take only as much as she wants to eat. She started peeling up a lot of food on her plate. I told her to add lesser portions and finish all the food. She said that she'd finish all the food because she was really hungry. I kept quiet after that. My daughter, on the other hand, was taking a little of each dish to taste and then deciding which one she wanted more of. I appreciated her for being so mature. As expected, my wife wasted nearly half of the plate she had so enthusiastically filled, and the manager told us we'd have to pay extra for the food wastage. I didn't want to tell my wife anything at the restaurant, so I just paid the bill and we went back home. After we put our daughter to bed, I told my wife that she acted very immature at the restaurant and our 10-year-old daughter had the sense to gauge her own hunger. My wife told me she was really excited to see so many varieties of food that she liked and she couldn't control herself. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my ex's family the reason we won't be getting married despite having a child together and getting him in trouble? So, I dated my ex for 3 years and found out he didn't think I was good enough to marry, but I was good enough to keep on the side. Looking back, I should have realized since he never introduced me to his family. They live in a different country, so I let him use that as an excuse. And our relationship was more sex than anything else on his side. I found out because I asked him what would happen if I got pregnant one day. At this point, I already knew I was pregnant, and he told me that would ruin things. He was blunt and said that while he loved me, he couldn't marry me, but things between us didn't need to ever end. I broke up with him on the spot and blocked him on everything when he tried to convince me to come back. I still hadn't told him I was pregnant, and I had no intentions of telling him until the baby was born. My plan didn't work out because he found out when I was 6 months. Our son is a year old, and since my ex found out I was pregnant, he has been trying to convince me to marry him. We took our son to visit his family this month. His family have been very nice, but they are also of the opinion that us getting married would be the best thing for our son. His grandfather asked me yesterday why I wouldn't marry him, considering he could give me and our son everything we could ever want. So I told them what he had said to me. They weren't happy with him, and after I left the room, they told him off. Now my ex is pissed at me for dragging his family into our issues and because I won't let go of his past mistakes. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I didn't want to spend time with his family after they tried to make me prove I was good enough for him? I went to meet my boyfriend's family for the first time, and it was a weird vibe. First, his brother, who was in a similar field of work, started quizzing me on my work like it was a job interview. I ended up joking that I don't talk shop unless I'm getting paid for it. After that went on for a while. He asked me kinda rudely if I just got into that field to meet a wealthy man. My boyfriend and his family are wealthy, so I said that I was in it to out-earn the wealthy man. Another joke, or half joke at least. I like my financial independence. Next, his cousins asked me if I was a workaholic, like some ex of some guys in the family who was never home and never did her household chores. I said, nah, I'm out of work at 5 on the dot. I care a lot about a good work-life balance. Then, they were saying I was such a millennial, which I don't know what they meant by that. There was more, but overall, it felt like a job interview or an interrogation rather than a social event. It felt like I was being asked questions and set up to be judged. I left early after a conversation with his mom, who was asking me about my homemaking skills and not really liking my answer that my boyfriend is the better cook. And before I met him, I was eating too much takeout, but he's teaching me to cook. His mom made a comment about how in her day women brought something special to the table. I kinda tried to play it off as a joke, saying that I bring him beer, but it really didn't land. Anyway, I headed out early and he stayed that night. But as soon as he left too, he wanted to talk about why I had dipped super early. I said I felt like I was being interviewed for a job of being good wifey. Instead of just meeting people socially. And I feel like that's not something I enjoy. I like hanging out with people who are chill and accepting. He said he felt like they were just being protective and trying to make sure that he was ending up with a good partner, and they meant well. And they are like that whenever a new partner gets introduced, but they warm up to people quick. That every woman in the family had been questioned a bit and bond over it later on. I said I already know I may catch, and honestly, they were disrespecting us both. Me by making judgy comments, and him by not trusting him to pick a good partner himself. I said that I didn't feel like going for Thanksgiving or Christmas anymore, unless some people apologize and agree to not do this weird hazing shit again. He said that he felt I was being unreasonable. I should give him another chance at Thanksgiving. I felt like he's being insensitive and pushing me to go somewhere I'm not respected again. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend I don't want to go to his family's holidays after they met me and it felt like they questioned my worth for hours?